Hello YouTube. Today's live lesson is for my student Andy here in Seattle, and he's just busy today. I'm not sure why he's missing a lesson, but I'm doing this video for him anyway. And he has been working on strumming, feeling the backbeat on his strums, and the backbeat is beat 2 and beat 4. To put those together, that's backbeat. So what I was just playing, that's an example of strumming where you're emphasizing the backbeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Now the reason this has been tricky for my student Andy, and maybe some of you have this issue as well, is Andy is very familiar with this kind of strumming pattern where it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that pattern is putting the emphasis on all of the beats, all of the downbeats. It's all downstrokes, 1 and 2 and 3. And all of the ands between the beats are these late little strums, like just the bass notes and not emphasized. So you get full strum on the beat and then a little strum on the upbeats. So flipping it around where you're feeling the emphasized chords on the backbeat on 2 and 4, you're going to use the same kind of technique over here in order to execute that. Some of the strums are going to be softer, and some of them are going to be full loud ones like that. So the first way you can start doing it is just go 1, where you're hitting the bass note in the chord, the lowest note in the chord, or you're hitting just the low few strings. You can fudge it a little bit. You don't have to be too accurate just to make this work. So you can start by going 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you switch chords back and forth every measure, it helps you feel where beat 1 is. Even though you might be saying it out loud, you can switch over to not counting as long as you're feeling the right spot for beat 1, and you're not flipping around the way you're feeling it to make the downstroke be the one where you're feeling the strong beat. So we want, if I switch back and forth between C and G now, every measure, 1, 2, 3, 4, G, 1, 2, 3, 4, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, G. So that's the first exercise you can do, is just take that around on a bunch of different chords that you know. Apply that to songs that you know. If you know a song that goes like, I'll just do an example here. So whatever chords that you want to throw in there, whatever songs or chord progressions that you know, try to apply this pattern to it where you're going, it's kind of like thinking of it as bass down, bass down, bass down, bass down. That's your pattern. Or the pattern goes bass down, bass down. That's it. That's the one measure pattern. And then you move to a new chord on each new measure. And if you're just going back and forth between two chords and you're making sure that the bass note is the first thing that happens, then that kind of forces you to feel it the right way. So that's the first thing to do. Next thing, you can try something like this that I opened the video with, where I'm doing bass down, up, bass down, up, bass down, up, bass down, up, bass down. So that one has a couple of things going on with it. First, it starts with the bass note, and then you get your first full strum is on beat 2, and that's how all of these are, where you're feeling the backbeat. Your first full strum is not the first thing that happens when you go to a new chord. It's not like you go to a new chord and beat 1 and here's the chord. You don't get the whole thing on beat 1 when you're doing it this way. You get that whole chord on beat 2. So it's that tiny moment of delayed gratification is what throws a lot of people off and makes them feel it backwards when they're trying to execute this. They want the full strum to be on beat 1, because that's where you're moving chords, and it feels like that's what should happen if that's what you've been doing for most of your guitar life. So you get bass note on beat 1, and then the full chord on beat 2, and nothing on beat 3, and then we get and 4 and those upstrokes on and, the and of 3, 4, the and of 4. Those upstrokes are toned down. They're less volume. They're not as strong as the full down strum. So this is how we're going to emphasize beat 2 and beat 4. Is we just tone down the stuff that's around those things. We don't need to play 2 and 4 extra hard. We just need to make those the full strums, and everything else is kind of a partial strum. So beat 1 has that bass note, or the bass strings, as a partial down strum, where you're getting this side of the strings on the down strum. Then those up strums that are around beat 4, up, down, up, like that. Those up strums are partial up strums. You're not getting all of the strings like that. If you get all of the strings and you go up, down, up, like that for a pattern like this, it's going to sound like bass down, up, down, up, bass down, up, down, up, bass down. And it sounds too robotic like that. If we make the up strums kind of little, like half-hearted up strums, let the down strum on beat 4 ring out as a full strum, we get this: bass down, bass down, bass down, bass down. So I'm not really hitting beat 2 and 4 harder. I'm hitting everything else softer. So I'm going to do that just as a little play along here for a minute. I'm going to go back and forth between C and G, and I'm going to start really slow, and you can use this portion of the video as a play along. Start at the beginning and stay with me. I'm going to get faster and faster as I go through, and just see how long you can make it through, and then come back to this same portion of the video and try doing that again later on when you've practiced it, you're a little bit better, and see if you can make it all the way through to the end. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So as you can see at the end there, this kind of strumming pattern lends itself to being played at really fast tempos because it's not as busy as something like this. Like that is kind of obnoxious when you take that at a really fast tempo. But this one, where only beats 2 and 4 are actually full strums and everything else is a partial strum, it doesn't sound so busy, and you can play it really light and fast like that. And it sounds like kind of like you're effortlessly going really fast. So oftentimes when I'm playing songs at fast tempos, that's the strumming pattern that I'll go to first as my default, and then change it from there if I need to. So what's going to help you get into this is finding other things to do with your body to feel beats 2 and 4 as the strong beats. You still feel beat 1 as the beginning of every new chord. It starts on, like, when you move to the new chord, you get beat 1, it's just underemphasized. It's soft, it's that bass note. Beat 2 and beat 4 are the things that you want to feel, so you can put your head into it on 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And your arm is already doing it automatically. It's sort of moving like this as you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can tap your foot on 2 and 4, rock your body a little bit on 2 and 4, whatever doesn't interfere with your guitar playing. is really going to help you feel that backbeat and sort of let you make this kind of strumming pattern and this kind of feel more intuitive for your playing. Good luck. Let me know how it's going for you, and I will see you next time. Thank you.